Space. We're really out there, and we're not coming back. Thousands of scientists, engineers, and adventurers from around the world are dreaming and planning and working together to take us further into outer space, to discover and explore the unbelievable worlds beyond our world. And why? Space is cool.
Now let's look into the crystal ball with NASA JPL at future missions coming soon to a planet near you. Using tracking data from 2 current Mars satellite missions, Mars Global Surveyor and the 2001 Mars Odyssey mission. The Mars Exploration Rover mission plans to launch May 30th, 2003 and descend through the Martian atmosphere in January 2004. One method of descent is as a smart lander planned for 2005. NASA also proposes to create a new line of small scout missions, which would be selected from proposals from the science community and might involve airborne vehicles such as airplanes or balloons, even small landers. Smart lander will be capable of accurate landing and hazard avoidance. The Mars Exploration Rover project will be robotic field geologists exploring Mars climate history and searching for signs of water. Water is the possibility that life as we know it may have existed or may still exist on the red planet. A roving, long-range, long-duration science laboratory that will be a major leap in surface measurements and pave the way for a future sample return mission. At the end of the decade, NASA plans its Mars sample return mission, which will actually bring back soil and rocks and other samples, including possible proof of life on Mars. Probing even deeper into space, NASA JPL has the Stardust mission already in progress. Its goal is to bring back dust particles from comet Wild 2. From this primordial galactic dust, scientists believe they will discover the original elements which existed 15 billion years ago, before the Big Bang, which created the universe, stars, and galaxies as we know them. Stardust is the first U.S. space mission dedicated solely to the exploration of a comet, and the first robotic mission designed to return extraterrestrial material from outside the orbit of the moon. Stardust ejects from its Delta II rocket launch vehicle. In order to meet up with Comet Wild 2, the spacecraft will make 3 loops around the Sun. On the second loop, its trajectory will intersect the comet. Stardust will perform a variety of tasks, including reporting counts of comet particles encountered by the spacecraft with the dust flux monitor and real-time analysis of compositions of these particles. Stardust will capture these samples and store them for safe keep on its long journey back to Earth. This silica-based material has been inserted within the aerogel collector grid, which is similar to a large tennis racket. Not until January 2006 will Stardust and its precise cargo return by parachuting a re-entry capsule weighing approximately 125 pounds to the Earth's surface. Stardust particles being returned to Earth. Coronal mass ejection is a giant solar flare which spews dangerous solar proton particles hurling towards our planet Earth. Only to be deflected by our own magnetic field, which protects us like a giant force field from this danger. The bouncing of our magnetic field at that point causes the aurora borealis, which can be seen above the north and south poles.
The combined efforts of hundreds of thousands of people from 16 countries have joined together in the greatest single effort in the history of mankind. The International Space Station will give us all a new understanding of our place in the universe and how our fragile human experience and our planet Earth exist within it.
Baikonur Cosmodrome. The launching of Zarya and Zvezda on Russian Proton rockets in 1998 marked the beginning of the building of the ISS.
Copy.
STS-98.
A few details on the weather briefing that the astronauts just completed. As far as Kennedy Space Center goes, there are no significant issues or concerns there. There may be walking out to board the Astrovan in about another 10 minutes.
They should be coming out shortly.
Out just in a moment. Here they come.
COD the
usual buzzards that populate the vehicle assembly building area. We see them normally as a matter of course riding the thermals, and the moon is going to be coming up just about at launch time. But just recounting our weather, we're essentially at a 0% chance of weather criteria violation here at the Cape, and we're watching the weather. Now they're going to make a stop here at what point will they let the weather pilot out?
just in a few seconds here, you'll see the
Scope orbiter APU start. PLC OTC start APU. That is in work. PLC, clear caution warning memory. Verify no unexpected errors. That's in work.
Top off of the fuel cells is being terminated.
OTC, PLC, caution warning memories cleared. There were no unexpected messages. Copy PLC. All flight crew members, close and lock your visors. Initiate O2 flow. Visors and O2 flow.
Air surface profile test now underway. Now the three main engines of Atlantis being gimbaled, going through their steering sequence to verify full controllability. Off the solid rocket booster joint heaters. It has occurred. Atlantis' computer is now controlling.
25 seconds. 20 seconds.
Firing chain armed. Sound suppression water system now activated.
10 seconds.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Go for main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis with Destiny, a science laboratory for the 21st century.
Houston now controlling.
Houston, Atlantis, roll program.
Roger, roll, Atlantis.
The roll maneuver is complete aboard Atlantis. The vehicle is now in a heads-down position on course for a 51.6 degree, 201 statute mile orbit. Approaching 30 seconds into the flight, preparing to begin throttle down of the main engines as the vehicle prepares to pass through the area of maximum dynamic pressure on the orbiter. Seconds into the flight, Atlantis is already downrange from the launch site of 2.5 miles at an altitude now of 5 miles.
Atlantis, go ahead, throttle up.
Go and throttle up.
Atlantis' 3 liquid-fueled engines are back at full throttle, approaching 1 minute 10 seconds into the flight. All systems in good shape. The hydraulic systems, auxiliary power units in excellent shape, as are the electricity-producing fuel cells aboard the vehicle. Atlantis already traveling 1,500 miles per hour. Downrange from the launch site 10 miles at an altitude of 13 miles. 1 minute, 30 seconds into the flight. At this point, Atlantis has already burned more than 2 million pounds of fuel and weighs half of what it did at launch. All very quiet, all going very smoothly aboard the orbiter. Approaching 1 minute, 50 seconds. The next event is burnout and separation of the twin solid rocket boosters, which consume about 10 tons of propellant every second. SRB separation confirmed 2 minutes, 10 seconds into the flight. Atlantis traveling 3,000 miles per hour at an altitude of 31 miles, downrange from the launch site, 40 miles. Beautiful view of Atlantis on its external tank now and main engines. The twin orbital maneuvering systems now firing for a duration of 1 minute 42 seconds to assist with Atlantis' climb to orbit.
Atlantis, Houston, 2-engine TOW.
right. We're looking forward to our homecoming too. We got some work to do today, though.
On board the space station, the Expedition 1 crew continued setting up and activating systems in the Destiny laboratory, while mission specialist Marcia Ivins started out the shuttle's day by powering up the robot arm to aid in the spacewalk. Jones lifted the antenna out and handed it to Kerbeam, who, attached to the shuttle's robot arm, took it up to the station's Z1 truss for installation. Kerbeam inspected the station's ammonia cooling lines, while Jones headed to the P6 solar array truss to release the bolts on a radiator. Onboard Atlantis.
I see you behind me coming up. Working out great.
I'm at the Zenith winch pan. I'm going to pull that one. You gotta go.
But I'm after Tom Goose by.
Tom, give you an option when you have a second. Ready? You can either just grab the safety tether and head up, or go to the airlock, drop off your socket caddy, PGT, and obtain a camera. I'd like to do the latter. Okay? They're going to show you doing it. I need the camera to get the documentation anyway. Okay.
One man.
To the arm.
Can you take the arm out in the payload bay? Just to help us deconflict the tethers here? That'll help us out tremendously.
It sure would. Stand by. Oh, that's going to work out super, Marshal.
Oh yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Guys, the view is out of this world up here.
That's an understatement.
I mean, we are skating along towards the horizon, and I can look out to the, the starboard side of the P6, and it's just all the way out there, 1,000 miles.
Atlantis Houston, as soon as you guys are done with the winches and you're clear, we're going to go ahead and deploy the array, the radiator.
That's their lead.
Keep lots on these, 8 inch deep, the crease, right across the 12. Okay, stand by. Official. Stay there a second, Tom. Alright. Okay, I only analyzed this tether problem we got here. I see you beam. Yep. And you're at the,
Mine is the one that's over top of yours.
Okay.
So I'm on the move.
Uh-huh. I'm gonna move on back down here, just below yours. Coastline going below. That's the view of Beamer up there in front of PMA 3.
Great shot. Give us a wave, Beamer.
And this was great being up here on the station. Wonderful. Just fine. Well, I think we finished this last EDA.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah, Roman, how do you... Loud and clear, Tom.
undocking and landing at Edwards Air Force Base.
Are you getting a picture?
And Atlantis, Houston, we have a good downlink now. Good picture of the undock.
And this view as it happened with Atlantis undocking from the International Space Station occurring at 8:06 Friday morning Central Time, 9:06 a.m. Eastern Time, as the two spacecraft were high above the western Pacific Ocean in darkness. And as Atlantis backed away from the space station, completing 6 days, 21 hours, and 15 minutes of docked operations, the two spacecraft moved into an orbital sunrise about 10 minutes or so after the undocking sequence.
And Atlantis, Houston, we have a good picture of the undock.
Watch the solar arrays and radiators flutter from the shuttle thrust. Here's a time lapse of the shuttle fly-around of the ISS with the Destiny lab attached.
Air navigation units are now receiving data from the radio beacons that are located at the landing site. Atlantis' speed is down to 4,700 miles per hour at a range of 260 miles from the landing site. Current altitude 140,000 feet. Time to touchdown 10 minutes. Traveling 1,700 miles per hour, time to touchdown 6 minutes 30 seconds.
Atlantis, Houston, slightly low at the 90.
Roger, on to 90, and we got the airport in sight.
Atlantis, Houston, copy, field in sight.
Pilot point of view camera, this unique view looking out the forward windows of Atlantis as Commander Ken Cockrell sets up for final approach to runway 22. Concrete runway just coming into sight there at the Edwards Air Force Base facility. Altitude 11,500 feet. Time to touchdown 1 minute and 20 seconds on a glide slope of about 19 degrees, 6 times that of a commercial airliner. On final approach now, 3,400 feet. And the gear deploy upcoming at an altitude of about 300 feet off the runway. And the landing gear is now down and locked. Main gear touchdown. Atlantis rolling out on runway 22 at the Edwards Air Force Base, completing a 5.3 million mile journey.
Here's the ISS now. Here's the ISS in 2006. Got a broken satellite or space telescope? Needs to be fixed? You know where we are. And all for about the same cost as remodeling your kitchen. STS-41-C. The flight had two primary objectives. The first was to deploy the huge long-duration exposure facility. The second objective was to capture, repair, and redeploy the malfunctioning Solar Maxim mission satellite, Solar Max. On the third day of the mission, Challenger's orbit was raised to about 300 miles, and it maneuvered to within 200 feet of Solar Max. The mission specialists were James D. Van Hoften, Terry J. Hart, and George D. Nelson. Nelson using the MMU, the Manual Maneuvering Unit, flew out to the satellite and attempted to grasp it with a special capture tool called the Trunnion Pin Acquisition Device, TPAD. 3 attempts to clamp the TPAD onto the satellite failed. It began tumbling when Van Hoften attempted to grasp it with the RMS arm, and the effort was called off. During the night, Solar Max POCC at Goddard Space Flight Center, Greenbelt, Maryland, was able to establish control over the satellite by sending commands ordering the magnetic torque bars to stabilize the tumbling action. This was successful, and the Solar Max went into a slow, regular spin. The next day, Nelson and Van Hoften tried to capture it again. This time, they succeeded on the first try. They placed the Solar Max on a special cradle in the payload bay using the RMS. They then began the repair operation, replacing the satellite's attitude control mechanism and the main electronic system of the coronagraph instrument. Solar Max was redeployed back onto orbit the next day, thus ending one of the most unique rescue and repair missions in the history of the space program. Well, the Hubble Space Telescope solar arrays weren't retracting, so they had to go out, detach them, and discard them before installing the new ones. Watch the solar arrays flutter from the shuttle thrust. You don't remember when they had to fix the mirror on the Hubble Space Telescope. Now here's some exceptional footage of a communication satellite being launched. The Ulysses satellite heads off to explore the magnetic poles of the Sun. The Russian-maintained Mir space station was the first successful human outpost in space.
Seemingly out of nothing, 13 billion years ago, the universe was born. Out of a maelstrom of cooling gas, the first galaxies emerged and the first stars were born. The most massive of these raced through their brief lives and seeded the young galaxy with heavier elements, elements that one day would be necessary for rocky worlds and for life. Eventually, life arose on one of those rocky worlds and began to look outward into the cosmos from which it arose, and began to inquire. The first step to understanding. In just the briefest blink of cosmic time, we have taken the first steps to reveal the most profound secrets of nature. With the Hubble Space Telescope, we have peered at the most distant reaches of space and into the nursery of the newest generation of stars. We use the universe as a vast laboratory for investigating nature's most fundamental processes. NASA's X-ray Great Observatory, the Chandra Observatory, is revealing some of the most elusive and energetic phenomena. From the structure and content of the mightiest explosions, which ends the life of the most massive stars, to the mysterious inner core of the Crab Nebula. The extreme conditions in space offer abundant and unexcelled opportunities to test the most far-reaching theories of energy and matter, and the forces that intertwine both. NASA will open another major window on the cosmos with the launch of the fourth Great Observatory. The Space Infrared Telescope facility will dramatically expand our quest to understand how stars and planets form, and what makes the most luminous galaxies in the universe so bright. No earthly laboratory can hope to compete with the range of environments that the universe offers us to study. Before the decade is out, NASA will build on the success of the Gamma Ray Great Observatory Compton, launching into space a large aperture gamma ray telescope, GLAST. This new telescope will have even greater sensitivity to the most energetic phenomenon ever seen, gamma ray bursts. Some scientists will perform their experiments with more than photons. Perhaps before the end of the decade, NASA will launch LISA, the gravity wave interferometer, to probe the fate of black holes and binary systems and the mysteries of gravity. In about a decade, a new array of X-ray telescopes, Constellation X, will test the fundamental theories of gravity by analyzing light coming from the vicinity of black holes. But the secrets of these intriguing objects await the ability to image their immediate environment and observe the structure surrounding the gravitational abyss into which matter is falling. If we succeed in developing new technology to combine light, we will be ready to build Maxim, an X-ray interferometer that will image the supermassive cause of galaxies in unbelievably vivid detail. And while we are using the variety of nature's environments as laboratories in space, we will also be searching for other homes for life in the cosmos. Near the end of this decade, the Space Interferometry mission will search for tiny wobbles of nearby stars responding to the feeble gravitational tug of orbiting planets. Planets not much larger than our own planet, Earth. One of NASA's crowning achievements this decade will be the development of the next generation space telescope. Now in design, Hubble's successor will have a primary mirror nearly 10 times larger in aperture and will be able to push back the limits of what we can see to the time when galaxies were born. Actually see the building blocks of the universe. With these two new telescopes, SIM and the next generation space telescope, we will learn to collect and combine light on a large scale. This will set the stage for humanity's first mission, specifically devoted to the search for evidence of life beyond our solar system, the terrestrial planet finder. With clever and precise control of starlight, we will search the faint emissions from warm worlds around nearby stars for clues to whether biological activity is taking place. Planet Finder will give us evidence, elusive hints about our living universe. But the next step will require innovative concepts to provide even larger apertures than the next generation telescopes. Our goal is not merely nearby Earth-like planets, but to gaze upon other worlds, other homes in space with the light finder. Such a marvelous goal will require vast arrays of next generation telescopes in space, permitting ever more detailed images of our neighbors. When asked why we set such goals for ourselves, to expect to answer the most demanding questions and to constantly challenge the best scientists and technologists among us, I am reminded of the words of T.S. Eliot's famous poem, "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and to know the place for the first time."